Hi everyone, so today I want to do a review of the Tasty air fryer, and we're going to pit that up against the Dreo Chef Maker. So just so you know, I have had the Dreo Chef Maker for several months now. I've loved it, and Tasty contacted me and said, hey, can we send you this air fryer and let us know how it does for you. So I just want you to know that this is a completely unbiased review, but Tasty did send me the air fryer, and this is a paid promotion, so just to let you know. So which one's gonna win, the Tasty air fryer or the Dreo Chef Maker? This one's a heavy hitter in the air fryer space. Tasty is the newcomer, so which one is going to beat the other? Stick around to find out. As many of you know, I'm on the carnivore diet, and I literally eat steak almost every single day. So that sort of qualifies me a little bit to give a review on the Tasty air fryer versus the Dreo Chef Maker and give my opinion on that. So I do want you to know that I did test the Tasty air fryer multiple times prior to doing this video and doing this comparison between the Dreo and the Tasty. Now, I didn't actually do a comparison test before now, so this is the first time that you're going to see it and I see it. So whatever results come out of this, it's the first time I've seen it, so stay tuned for that. Some of the differences between the Tasty and the Dreo is the Dreo has this reservoir on the top that you can put water in, and that's supposed to keep the meat moist. It's supposed to help control the temperature of the meat, whereas the Tasty doesn't have that. Now, the Tasty is a lower cost version between the two. Dreo is somewhat of a hefty price point, but the reason that it has that price point is because it has an internal temperature probe that you can cook meat to a precise exact temperature every single time. You tell it whether you want it medium rare, you want it medium, you want it well done. Don't know why you would do that, but you can actually do that. Coincidentally, the Tasty also has a temperature probe conveniently stored on the side here. The temperature probe is conveniently stored in this little container that pops right on the side, so keeps things nice and tidy. So I will say, between the Tasty and the Dreo doesn't have a holder for this, so I frequently, end up leaving it lay out on the counter. It's always, sort of in the way. Or maybe I'll throw it in the basket. If the basket's cleaned out, I'll go ahead and throw it in there. So that's a really nice feature that the Tasty has, that you can actually store this probe away and have it up off of the counter. You don't have to put it in here in the basket in case you forgot to clean, things like that. So that's a definite plus. Another plus to the Tasty versus the Dreo is the Tasty actually shows you the temperature of the meat on the display, whereas the Dreo does not show you the temperature of the meat on the display whatsoever. It's not necessary that you have that feature, but that's a nice added feature that the Tasty has that the Dreo does not. So I do like that. It is a little bit more compact. It's a little bit smaller in the cooking chamber than the Dreo is, which is fine. You can easily cook 2 New York strips in here, which I've done for me and my wife, and it worked perfectly. So you just put the temperature probe in one, and the other one cooks to approximately the same temperature. So they were very similar, very close in temperature, texture, taste, and things like that, and doneness. So no issues there. Now, obviously, if you have a large family, you may want to get 2 of these. You may want to purchase a larger option in terms of air fryer, but if it's just 1-2 people, this is a perfect option. It's smaller, obviously, than the Dreo, so it fits into tighter areas, which is good. Both of them are app controlled. The app use for the Tasty is comparable to the Dreo. I don't see any difference between the two in terms of use, and to be honest, the app and the actual cooker itself, the Tasty will actually give you a time estimate from the start of when the actual cook will be finished, where the Dreo won't. It'll just say calculating. I'm not sure why it goes through this calculating process and why it does that, but I just wanted to note for you guys that it actually does do that, and you don't know for a little while what the estimated completion time is. Now, so that way, let's say, for instance, I wanted to cook something in the Tasty, and medium rare ribeye, and it says it's going to be done in 22 minutes. Okay, I know I approximately have 22 minutes. If I have my phone with me, then we're going to have a notification when the cook is done. So we're going to make sure that, you know, we don't leave it in too long and it overcooks because of that residual temperature. But I can walk away without using the app from the Tasty, getting somewhat of a prediction of when the steak is going to be complete. Whereas the Dreo, it seems like it's about a 5-minute or so delay before it will actually give you a calculation on when it's going to be done. In addition, in terms of cook times, I have found that the Tasty seems to be more consistent in its estimation of when it's going to be done. Now the Dreo, it's hit or miss. Sometimes it's on the money when the steak is going to be complete, but other times it'll say, once it's done with its calculations, it'll say 16 minutes. And then literally like 8 minutes later, it's going to say the steak is going to be done in 5 minutes. So it's already shaved off 3 minutes. And then after that 5-minute warning, it's done in another 2 minutes. So now we've, you know, shaved off 6 minutes off of the cook time. So that hardly gives you time to go out and, you know, do something out in the yard or whatever it is that you're doing. And where I found with the Tasty in comparison, the time estimates seem to be pretty close to what the initial time estimate is. So even though cook times vary, and we'll get into that later, I just wanted to note that. So I do want to say that Tasty did send me this air fryer. I will get affiliate commission, a small portion of the sale, if you do purchase from my link below. So with that, let's get into it. Let's compare the Tasty with the King Dreo, and let's see which one is going to be best for you in your situation, and which one frankly cooks a better steak, because that's really all I care about. I don't care how it's done. I just care that I have a perfectly cooked steak every single time. I need something that I can count on. So let's go. Okay, each one of these has their own temperature thermometer. So we're going to take the Tasty thermometer and go ahead and insert that into the meat. Now you want this inserted into the center of the meat, and you want to make sure that you're parallel. And you know, you don't want it sticking up, you don't want it sticking down, you want it perfectly parallel to get it directly into the center. So we're going to go ahead and insert that, make sure we get an accurate reading. Okay, now we have that inserted for the Tasty. Now the Dreo itself has a temperature probe as well. So we're going to go ahead and insert the temperature probe for that one. And again, just like the one for the Tasty, you want to get the tip of the probe into the center of the meat. So we're going to go ahead and insert that, make sure we're level as we possibly can. And you also want to make sure that the tip of these probes are not in the fat. So that will definitely affect the temperature reading. So we're going to go ahead and get these in the air fryers. And what you have to do with Dreo is put the temperature probe up here in the lid, and try to not have it sitting on top of the meat. Tasty, you just kind of let the temperature probe sit off to the side like this. So go ahead and insert that into the air fryer, and you want to make certain that you attach the Tasty probe here just like so. These are both app controlled as well. So we'll turn this on. You can see we got a nice menu system there, and we're going to hit the steak button, and we're going to select ribeye and hit OK. And we want medium rare, so we'll leave it right there and we'll go over here to the Drao. We're gonna turn the Drao on. And we're gonna go chef mode. We're gonna go beef. We're gonna go ribeye. Use the grilling rack. Let's see, medium rare. And we want classic flavor on this one. Okay, so I'm gonna hit start on both of these and then we're gonna do a comparison on time. Right off the bat, you can see the Drao cooked the steak more than the Tasty. The Tasty looks more medium rare to me. It looks like overall it looks like a better steak. So hopefully it's going to taste better too. And I'm surprised considering the cost difference in these two air fryers. So this is the Drao. Again, this looks more like a medium to me. And then we got the Tasty air fryer over here, which that looks like medium rare. So here we have it, folks. We have the cooked steaks. They're ready to go. I am absolutely starving. And we're going to give these a taste test and see if there's any difference in the taste. Now, I will tell you that these were not seasoned at all. I don't eat seasoning on any steaks. I don't eat seasonings at all. So this is a perfect test. We're not doctoring it up. We're not, you know, maybe get more seasoning on the Drao than we got on the Tasty. So this is a perfect test to see if the taste, tenderness, and, you know, juiciness and flavor is comparable. So got our trusty Maldon salt. We got to have the Maldon salt. It's a definite must. We get a little bit of salt out here, a little bit on the cutting board, a little bit on the meat. There we go. I'll try the Drao first, see how that tastes. Get a little bit of salt on there. Very good. Excellent. It tastes exactly like I would expect it to taste. It is a little bit more done than what I like. Again, I like the medium rare. So now let's go for the Tasty. And get our piece. Get a little bit of Maldon salt on there. Oh my goodness. Absolutely delicious. There's nothing that beats the king of steaks, the ribeye. And I can tell you, in terms of doneness for these steaks, the Tasty did a better job. The Tasty actually has a better color. I'm really surprised at that, considering how much I spent on the Drao Chef Maker. It has an internal probe, the Tasty has an internal probe. The difference between the two is the Drao has this water reservoir in the top. So its claim to fame with that is that it can control the temperature more and the moistness of the meat. Now, in terms of comparison between the Tasty and the Drao, to me it seems like the Tasty is more moist and it's cooked to perfection compared to the Drao. And honestly, I'm a little surprised. I've used the Drao for many months and didn't really have anything to compare it against. But now that I do, you know, I'm really thinking the Tasty is going to be the way to go. It's much simpler. It's much quicker in terms of getting into the menu system and cooking the steak that you want and how you want it. Other benefits to the Tasty is that it shows the actual temperature on the screen, whereas the Drao doesn't show you the temperature at all. It's a guess, it's a mystery. So both are app controlled, which is good. It was easy to set up both apps and they can be controlled independently. So The big draw for me is this temperature probe that you plug into the side. That was a must for me with an air fryer. That's why I didn't choose any other air fryer than the Dreo ChefMaker when I first purchased an air fryer and started moving into the winter, and knew that I'm not going to be able to cook my steaks outside, smoke my steaks like I normally do, so I needed to have an inside solution. Here's another difference. The Dreo ChefMaker sort of exhausts some of the internal fumes, it seems, and sometimes it'll get smoky in the house where we have to open the back door and get some ventilation going. So, you know, that may be a potential drawback to you in terms of if you actually wanted to buy the Dreo. Now, I've used this Tasty several times before this to make sure that this was a good product before creating this video, because I didn't want to suggest something to you, my viewers. I care about you guys and I want you to have a quality product. I do believe that the Tasty is a quality product that I can recommend. It's less than half of the cost between the Dreo and these two. It's less than half the cost of the Dreo. So I'll actually put the pricing down below for you guys so you can understand just how much of a value that the Tasty is. So there's other things in terms of the menu system that the Dreo may have that the Tasty doesn't, but when it comes to the carnivore diet, cooking steaks and cooking them well, I can stand behind the Tasty. This is an absolute great product, and I'm glad that they sent me this unit to test and try out. So thank you to Tasty for that. So the time between these, the Dreo was at 13 minutes. The Tasty took 20 minutes. I'm okay with waiting that extra 7 minutes because I'm literally not doing anything. I just turn the air fryer on, let it go, and take it out when it's done. So that's a huge plus for air fryers in general, but that extra 7 minutes really didn't mean much. It may mean something to you. Maybe you want to get your steak done a little quicker, then possibly go with the Dreo. But I will say this, the Tasty, even though it took longer, seemed like it was trying to control that internal temperature a lot more than potentially the Dreo was. So the Dreo has two different cook modes. The Dreo has what's called classic flavor and sous vide flavor. The classic flavor cooks in a shorter amount of time like it did, and then the sous vide flavor, it'll actually cook it longer. So I'm not sure in terms of the algorithm between the Dreo and the Tasty if the Tasty is actually doing that sous vide flavor, which actually takes longer. So it's actually going to cook it a little bit longer. It's going to try to control that temperature. The meat's going to get a little bit more tender, and overall you're going to have a better experience when you eat, in my opinion, when you do the sous vide flavor. So that's something to consider. In conclusion, do I recommend the Tasty air fryer? I absolutely recommend this air fryer. We're going to have links in the description below so that you can purchase one for yourself. We do get a commission for every unit sold through that link, so I appreciate you and I appreciate all of your support. And let me know in the comments, you know, what air fryer do you have? What pros and cons do you see to the units that you have? And if you get a Tasty air fryer, come back to this video and let me know how it works for you. I'm really interested in knowing how well it's worked out for you. So till next time, stay amazing. Bye for now.